She will come back 100%, just do this wisdom. Muse love is not about how much you say I love you, but how much you prove it. Unknown if you believe the right words can win her back, you're already on the wrong path. Words alone won't bring her back. With truly draws her back is the transformation you undergo in her absence. The silence that breeds strength. This isn't about playing mind games or trying to manipulate the situation. It's about understanding human psychology and personal power. It's about evolving into the man she can't forget, the one who stands out even when she tries to let go. If you truly grasp this, she will return 100%. There's no doubt all that matters is how you show up for yourself and apply these principles without hesitation. Let's dive into how you can make this transformation. 1. Stop trying to be understood and start being unavailable. 2. Stop chasing, start elevating. A Stoic guide to emotional power, and try to be understood. Stop chasing her validation. Stop explaining yourself, trying to convince her that you're worthy of her attention. You must shift your mindset from emotional vulnerability to emotional strength in the heat of the moment when a woman pulls away. Many men believe the right course of action is to reach out, explain, and plead for another chance. But here's the hard truth: that approach makes you look weak, desperate, and emotionally powerless. You need to understand that this behavior isn't just ineffective, it actively works against you. The more you try to be understood, the more you reveal your fear of being alone. And fear is never attractive. It's the same with trying to argue your value. It only lowers your worth in her eyes. Why? Because value isn't something that can be argued. It's something that must be lived. When you argue, when you beg, you cease to embody your true worth. You diminish it. So don't waste your time. Words won't bring her back. No matter how eloquent or heartfelt, if she's emotionally closed off, your best efforts to explain yourself won't get through. You'll just add to the noise and she tune you out. Availability. The desperate urge to always be there for her doesn't spark curiosity, it smothers it. If you're constantly available, she'll take your presence for granted. She won't miss you. What really matters isn't how much you chase her, but how much you elevate yourself. It's where the old Stoic wisdom comes in. The Stoics were masters of emotional control. They understood the power of silence, of creating distance, not out of malice, but out of personal strength. The most powerful tool at your disposal is not more words, but absence. You must make yourself emotionally unavailable. Don't do it in anger. Don't cut her off out of spite. Instead, remove yourself from her emotional radar entirely. Don't chase, don't plead. Instead, become a man of iron mind, a man who is unshaken, unbothered by her emotional withdrawal. When you pull back, she will begin to feel the absence of your presence, and that absence becomes deeply unsettling. She will begin to notice the void where your energy used to be. It's this contrast, this sudden shift, that creates a powerful emotional impact. He didn't chase you, didn't beg you, vanished from her emotional world, not out of fear, but because you have the self-discipline to do so. A woman who thought you would chase will start to wonder why you're not. The silence you create, her unavailability, will force her to rethink her decisions. This is where many men fail. They mistake kindness and emotional availability for strength. But let me tell you this: when you're available in the wrong way, you give away your power. You are no longer in control. The Stoic principles of strength lie in emotional detachment, self-control. You don't need to be there every time she reaches out. You don't need to be at her beck. In Cali, you must prioritize your own emotional balance over her need for constant reassurance. When you master this, when you understand the art of becoming unavailable without being cold, you become a man of mystery. And mystery is what drives curiosity. The absence, not the presence, that creates longings. Will start to replay the moments you shared, not because you begged her to, but because you stopped showing up. That silence becomes a powerful force that compels her to reconsider. Why is he not chasing? Why has he stopped being emotionally available? Answer lies in the iron mind. You've developed the emotional control, you've mastered. This isn't just about playing games or trying to manipulate emotions. It's about aligning with the deepest wisdom of the Stoics. He understood that the key to power, to attraction, lies not in chasing or pleading, but in mastering your own emotions and creating an emotional vacuum that others must navigate. Us unavailability isn't a rejection, it's a statement of strength. It tells her that you're worth. It's not up for negotiation. That is the power of Stoic principles. That is the power of an iron mind. We'll come back, this is guaranteed, not because you begged her, but because you became the man she can't ignore it. Create a void so powerful, it echoes. Most men think distance is the enemy. They believe that if she starts pulling away, they need to chase her, say something though, something close the gap. But here's the brutal truth. Most men fail to grasp women only. Feel the loss when you stop rushing to fix it. That's the secret power of creating spizet. Void, it's not a hole. It's a powerful force when you withdraw, not just physical a bit. Energetically, you create an emotional vacuum, a space that was once filled with your attention, your reactions, your presence. When that suddenly vanishes, it echoes in her world in ways you can't even imagine. Not confuse space with passivity. Here's the mistake most men make. They believe that doing nothing means they'll lose her for worth. It's a lie. True power isn't chasing, it's holding position. It's standing firm, silent, and letting the shift happen without interference. How does this work? Simple. You create the void, you stop watching her stories and, like her posts, don't fall for the trap of responding to those breadcrumbs. Know what breadcrumbs are, right? The half-hearted texts, the just checking in messages, little attempts to keep you emotionally attached to her, to keep the connection alive. On her terms, stop chasing them, just stop. You must remove yourself from any emotional exurgent. Don't get it twisted, this isn't about punishing her. It's about preserving your self-respect. Women are tuned into energy, not logic. They don't come back because you write a long, heartfelt apology. They come back because your silence forces them to confront something they never imagined, a world without you. Think about it. The guy who keeps messaging, liking, hoverings, easy to forget. The guy who disappears completely, calmly, and confidently, he becomes unforgettable. Thoughts, the power of creating space. You let it stretch wide, far beyond what you think is comfortably. Let her feel just how much space you use to fill that space becomes louder than any word you could say. This is the essence of Stoic rules in action. Practical Stoicism isn't about being passive. It's about having the discipline to withdraw, to be emotionally present but not attached. It's the wisdom of letting go at the right time, of knowing that true power comes from standing firm silently while the world shifts around you. Women are drawn to strength. And what is strength? It's not about the loudest voices, longest texts, or the most heartfelt apologies. Strength is knowing when to stop. When you stop engaging in constant emotional exchange, something interesting happens. Silence speaks for itself. It creates a vacuum, a space where the absence of your energy echoes louder than any words could. This isn't about manipulation. This is the path of wisdom, understanding the importance of absence, the value of silence, and the art of letting things unfold in their own time. The man who stands firm, true power in relationships isn't about endless pursuit. It's about creating distance, not to punish her, but to preserve your own dignity. This is the Stoic approach to relationships. It's about letting the other person feel the loss without you chasing them down, without you filling the space with desperate gestures. You hold position and let the void speak for itself. Calm, be confident while you're silent. You allow her to sit with the version of herself he no longer has access to you. And here's the kicker. This silence will speak volumes. The absence of you will amplify her feelings more than anything. You could say the emotional vacuum you create becomes a powerful foresight, pulls her back. This is how practical Stoicism works, and while she may fight it at first, estasis the echo of that void. There's a part of her that will always feel it. The man who stands firm, who doesn't chase woe, doesn't fill the silence with distractions. That man is unforgettable. This is the path of wisdom. You create a void so powerful it echoes, and when it echoes, she'll feel lightened. Eventually she'll return, not because you begged, not because you chased, but because your silence forced her to confront a world without you in it. Don't forget it. 3. Become the man she thought you couldn't be without her. Here's the undeniable truth. Most women leave because they believe you'll crumble without them. They expect you to chase after them, to beg to fall apart. But when you do exactly that, you confirm everything she feared about your value. Epictetus taught us that it's not the external world that defines us, but our own internal responses. Top letting her define who you are. It's time to evolve. It's time to rise without here you want her back good. But the only way to get her back is to focus on fixing the man you became inside that relationship. Ask yourself where. Did you lose your edge? Where did you stop showing up for yourself? Did you neglect your body? Did you lose sight of your mission? Did you stop maintaining your standards? The key is not to fix the relationship. Key is to fix yourself, become the man she never thought you could be with her. The man who is no longer defined by anyone's approval, the man who is in control of his own destiny. It's about discipline. It's about being relentless in your training, about reading with purpose, about building your life with vision and intensity. This man has a mission. This man does not seek validation, is not waiting for her to come back. He is living his life, and if she does come back, she'll see. A man who is so centered in his own power that, quite frankly, he might not even take her back. Stoicism teaches us that the path to true peace and contentment is not in chasing external validation, but in mastering our own minds and actions. This man lives with purpose. He hers. The truth about women, they are drawn to growth, especially when that growth happens in their absence. When she sees you evolve, getting sharper, stronger, more composed, more focused on your journey without a hint of bitterness or resentment, that's when the psychological twist happens. That's when she starts questioning her decision. That's when she starts watching. She will begin to regret her choice, but understand this. You cannot fake growth. Epictetus emphasized that true freedom comes from within. You cannot pretend to be the man you want her to see. You must outgrow the need for her to even return. You must grow so much that you no longer care if she returns. This isn't about revenge. This is about your rebirth. This is about rebuilding your frame, your presence, your energy, your emotional strength, until she no longer defines your worth. Beckham, the man who stands on his own feet, whose value comes from his own internal purpose, from the approval of others. When she sees that evolution, whether it takes a month or a year, it will be undeniable by then. You won't need to speak. You won't need to prove anything. Becca's by the time she sees the new you, she will realize that the man who stands before her is not the man who she left behind. Message is simple. Don't wait for her rise above. Bam, the version of yourself that you were always meant to be. Don't ask for validation. Don't beg. Don't chase. Be the man you were born to become, and let everything else follow. This is how you win. This is how you live with power. This is how you master life. If you found this valuable, like, comment below and share it with someone who could benefit it. Forget to subscribe for more wisdom. Comment to remember, I'm the man who evolves beyond expectations. Let stillness be louder than her doubts. Don't raise your voice in panic. When things start to feel distant, often silence speaks louder than words ever will. Especially those with a strong driven spirit often misread the situation when faced with emotional distance. The instinct is to talk, explain, and fix things that aren't broken, but that words can bridge the gap. But here's the truth. Your anxiety will only make her feel more distant. Your energy is frantic and restless, so too will her feelings be. If your presence is unstable and irritates, it pushes her away. What she craves, what she needs is stillness. Stillness isn't about doing nothing. It's not the absence of movement. It's a deliberate quietness in your actions, a mastery of inner peace. It's about being grounded, about having emotional control, even in the chaos, and doing it all while remaining outwardly calm. Stillness is your greatest weapon, a way to show emotional control while appearing indifferent. But let me make one thing clear. It's not fake. You are not pretending to be calm. You are learning to be. This isn't about playing games. This is the strength of a man who understands the power of Stoic principles. When a man taps into stillness, becomes unpredictable. In a world where everyone else is reactive, it is the man who doesn't answer to every emotional ping. He's a mystery, a question mark in the world's constant chatter. Psychology proves it. People, especially women, are drawn to uncertain to toe the mystery of the unknown. You don't want to be the man who constantly reacts, who always shows his cards back, as those men are forgettable. The one who doesn't react, the one who stands still, he becomes unforgettable. And you stop chasing validation when you stop feeding the emotional stories that she tries to write, when you stop showing up on her terms and start showing up on your own. Begin to shift the dynamic. Stillness means you don't chase after her, but neither do you retreat into bitterness. It's a balanced approach. You neither react nor freeze, but move with intention, power, and wilt. Crassio, don't rush you. Don't react to her every whim, but you never stop moving with purpose. We'll test that stillness. It's inevitable. She might provoke you, poke at you, or even try to bait you into reacting. But here's where your strength lies. The more you resist, the more power you accumulate. Calm man who doesn't flinch at every test becomes a force to be reckoned with in a world that thrives on emotional volatility. Calm man rises above it all. He doesn't need to control. He doesn't need to seek validation. Simply is. And in that quiet, unwavering presence, he exudes strength. It's this stillness that stays with her, lingers in her mind. Long after you've left the room, you've become more than a memory. You become a presence. She can't shake even when you're miles away. Old Stoic wisdom teaches us that true power lies in the ability to control oneself, to remain grounded despite the chaos around you. An iron mind doesn't react impulsively. Instead, it listens, it observes, and it remains unmoved by fleeting emotion. But you embody these Stoic principles. You transform yourself into a man of strength and certainty in an uncertain world. Don't forget, it's not about being emotionless or distant. It's about mastering yourself, letting stillness become your loudest voice. 5. Make her regret your absence, not miss your messages. Let's get this clear. She doesn't miss your texts. She doesn't long for your good morning message. Feel the absence of your long apologetic paragraphs. No hot. She misses if you're doing it right. Is the emotional stability, leadership, and masculine grounding you brought into her life? And here's the catch. She can only miss those things when you stop reminding her of them, stop over-communicating, stop explaining everything away, stop chasing. All of that only takes away your power. Worse still, it justifies her decision to walk away. You want to get her back then? Do this. Stop trying. Let her feel the weight of her own decision without your constant presence around her. It's not about anger, not about silent treatment meant to manipulate. No, it's about detached conscious absence. Here's the truth. Women do not process regret when you are still emotionally available. If you process regret when they can no longer reach you, you need to create that space net to get her back, but to give room for the natural pull of emotional gravelet. Her sit with her thoughts, doubts, and second-guessing. Let her face the absence of the man she once took for granted. That is where the magic happens. Remember, she doesn't regret your messages. She regrets losing access to the man who no longer sends them. Let that sink in. You're not a text machine to keep her entertained or reaffirmed. You're a man of Stoic strength, and be a distraction, be an influence. This is where Stoic rules come into place. Stoicism isn't just a philosophy, it's a way of life. A guide to emotional regulation and strength in the face of turmoil. Must embody practical Stoicism to make this work. Stoic rules dictate that we control what we can and let go of what we can't. Your presence in her life was never meant to be about constant reassurancy. Chasing it was about the solid, calm, grounded leadership you provide. Without that, she has nothing to anchor herself. 2. You're not here to fix her feelings or beg for her attention. Must live according to the paths of wisdom, where you choose not to be constantly available. 8. Her emotional whims, let her sit with the space you've created. Let her learn what it's like to live without the emotional anchor. You, where the absence becomes a statement of your emotional strength. Be present, but not desperate. Feed her the validation she seeks through your constant availability. Let her walk through her emotional storm on her own. Let her face her own uncertainty. Remember, do not over-explain yourself. As isn't about you justifying your actions. The absence of your presence will be more telling than any apology. Don't rush to fill the silence with endless texts or apologies. Let the silence sit. Let her regret the loss of the man who once didn't need to explain himself. The practical Stoicism at play here is detachment, touched not in a cold, indifferent way, but in a way that's rooted in strength. This isn't about manipulation. This is about power, real power. And power comes from knowing what you can control and what you can't. What you can't control is her decision to walk away. What you can control is your emotional response to it. Do you want her back? Then be the man she regrets losing note. Because you need her approval, but because you are a man of value who doesn't chase after validation. Is the path of wisdom. What you do now is about maintaining your emotional strengths. Let the Stoic rules guide you. You must stand firm in the knowledge that your absence will cause her to feel the weight of her own decision. That is your power. Be steadfast, be grounded, and let her realize what she had, because without your presence, the void she feels will make her miss what she could no longer access. Don't make the mistake of thinking she misses your texts. What she truly misses is the powerful asterisk. Grounded presence you gave her, the leader who no longer chases. Be that man and let her see what life is like without Hyman. If you find today's content very interesting, please give me a word of encouragement by commenting Vori. Interesting in the comments section. That is a huge motivation for us. Asterisk thank you 6. Don't close the gap. Make her cross it. Most men fail here the moment space arises. They panic, she pulls away. And they immediately jump to fill the void, a text, a call, a grand gesture. Anything to close the gap, but that fear of space is exactly what destroys your value when you rush to close that gap. Who only communicate one thing: I can't exist without you. This is weak, unattractive, and unworthy of respect. Power lies in stillness, in your ability to stand firm in the silence. You must allow the space to breathe. Let her feel the distance she created. Let her deal with the absence. Let her feel the weight of her actions. You do not need to chase her to prove your worth. In fact, if you do, you take away the process that would naturally lead her back to you. If she's meant to return, she will cross that space on her own and her terms. When she's ready, don't rob her of the opportunity to come back to you willingly. To make her feel it's like you're desperate. That's not how you build respect, not how you build value. She must cross the gap, because that's the only way she'll ever truly value the man standing. On the other side, Epictetus, the ancient Stoic philosopher, said freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control. You cannot control her actions, her feelings, or her choices, but you can control how you respond to space and silence, and be desperate for validation. Learn to let her come back to you when the time is right. This is how you win in life. This is how you master your emotions. Modern life is filled with distractions, steps, and pressures to act quickly, to rush and fill every moment of silence. But real power is in resisting that urge. Real power comes from sitting in the stillness and waiting for what you deserve to come to you. Life is not a race to chase. It is a measured walk toward what is truly valuable. The Stoics taught what we fear doing most is usually what we most need to do. You need to do the hardest thing. Stay still. Make her cross that gap. Let her feel the space, and let her come back to you, because when she does, she will value you infinitely more. This is how you win. This is how you use Stoic wisdom to master your life. Don't chase, don't begin. Don't fill the silence. Master the art of letting go. You must learn that space is not an enemy, it is an opportunity. Be confident in the fact that you are worth the wait. Make her cross that gap, and you'll see the result in ways you've never imagined. This is the path to true power. 7. Trust the power of time, not talk. Gentlemen, you're obsessed with timing, but not in the way that matters. You think that if you move quickly enough, shoot off the perfect text, or say the exact right words before she forgets them, you can somehow turn the tide. But here's the truth. Time is your greatest ally, not your enemy. You see, most men get it wrong. They chase words, they chase moments, but they forget the true power of silent. Sight is in the silence that your strength shows. In a world where we are constantly urged to talk and talk some more, you need to learn that old Stoic wisdom, the power of a silent iron. Mind Stoic principles teach us that our presence isn't required to fix every situation. Semites, your absence speaks louder than any words you can muster. So here's the secret: stop talking just for a while, or move yourself entirely from the conversation and let the silence do the work. It won't happen overnight. No, it takes time to work its magic. At first, there's no immediate effect, but slowly as the days slip by, curiosity creeps in. What is he thinking? Hasn't he reached out? How come he's so calm, so unbothered? The absence of your words fills that silence, and In that absence that she starts to notice something. You're fine without her, you're not chasing, not begging, not pleading, and that makes her question. Everything here's where the shift begins. Someone stops. Seeing you every day, hearing your voice, feeling your presensity, either forget you or they start to miss the version of you that was calm, consistent, and real, the version of you that was untouchable. In your own space, governed by your own choices, but if you speak to Sunef, you rush in with words to fill the void, you reset the clock, you stop the process of time from working its magic. You give her the easy out, the comfort of knowing that you're still there, still available, still. The same but that isn't what you want, what you need is for time to work in your favor. Time will reveal what words cannot. You must give her the time to realize what she lost. But more importantly, you must give yourself the time to realize what you deserve. You deserve peace. You deserve growth. You deserve clarity. If you rush back in with words, you stop the process of transformation. That time brings power lies in letting her sit with her own thoughts, her own questions. Let her experience the weight of what's missing. Let her see the contrast between who you were and who you've become in your absence. Let the days pass. Let the weeks slip by. Let us scroll through old photos, old messages, and old memories, only to realize that there are no new ones being a dead tears. No fresh interaction, no new depth to the connection. Let time rewrite the emotional story, not with your voice, but with your silence. She'll come back not because you begged or pleaded, but because time has done what you could never do with words. Time will show her what you never said. This is where the old Stoic wisdom holds true. Be steady, be silent, and trust that the right moment will come. Mites, the iron mind that doesn't rush, and the Stoic principles that guide your actions that make the real difference. You don't need to say a thing, just let time do its work. Let it shape the narrative, not with your constant presence, but with your calm absence. Seemed. When she comes back, she realized that it was never about the words, it was about what time showed her. And what you silently became. If you're still here, you've already grasped the true power of time. It's not about rushing to fix things or filling the silent sites, about letting time work. It's magic. Trust in your own growth and let her feel the absence of what she once had. No, I want you to comment below with I trust the power of time, not words. Let's see who's truly ready to let silence do the heavy lifting. 8. Become the man who doesn't need her return. This is a truth wrapped in paradox. The more you try to bring her back, the less likely it is that she will. It's not about chasing her or pining for her presence. It's about letting go the moment you stop needing her. Is the moment the tides begin to shift. 2 must become the man who doesn't need her to return, to feel whole, to feel complete. It's when the game changes. This isn't just about detachment, it's about freedom from the constant pull of needing validation from someone else. It's about reclaiming the pieces of yourself you handed over to hear your attention, your approval, your emotional energy. In the quiet of this self-sufficiency, find a power that is hard to ignore. Ask yourself this: who are you when she's not watching? Hen, there's no one to impress. No one's checking your social media or monitoring your action. Chew. Are you when you have nothing left to prove? Are you still a man of substance, or are you just playing a role? The answer lies in the man who doesn't need an audience to perform. He doesn't require external validation to feel solid in his own skin. This man is dangerous not because he seeks power, but because he commands respect. Effortlessly, when you stop waiting for her or anyone else to complete you, you unlock your full potential. You grow, you evolve, and you do it for yourself, not because someone is watching. This is the essence of practical Stoicism. It's about being the architect of your own life regardless of external circumstances. A Stoic doesn't rely on the ebb and flow of others. Aprovalto determine his worth. Instead, he looks inward. He builds from within. In women, they sense this shift. It's not a loud change, it's subtle, but it's profound. It's the quiet confidence of a man who knows who he is without needing anyone to tell him. Women are drawn to strength, to autonomy, to men who have mastered the Stoic rules of life. Fize. Men are secure in themselves and don't hinge their happiness on anyone's presence or absence. Begin to walk differently, speak differently, and live differently, not because you want her back, but because you've remembered who you were before attachment. took hold. You've rediscovered the person who existed before she came into your life, and that man was just fine. This is where the magic happens. Here's the kicker. When she comes back, and she meet a man she can no longer control, note, because she's any less of a person, but because you found something far greater: self-respect. The true win is not in her return. In the person you've become the man who no longer hopes or waits, but the one who builds, one who moves forward regardless of what's in front of him. You must understand this: you are not seeking her return to feel validated. You're seeking to evolve into the best version of yourself. Or without her, you've learned the paths of wisdom, and you follow them to build a stronger, more grounded version of yourself. If she returns, great. If she doesn't, even better, because you've already become everything you were meant to be without her. This is more than detachment. This is self-empowerment. This is about returning to your own truth, your own power, and realizing you don't need her to feel whole in the eyes of the penis. Is never dependent on external forces. It's an internal state that can't be swayed by the whims of Usorio. Are the master of your own destiny. Become the man who builds, become the man who moves, not waits. Asterisk, embrace the Stoic rules that have stood the test of time. Don't chase, don't cling, instead focus on the journey of becoming. If she returns, she'll meet a man who no longer needs her to feel compultant. If she doesn't, you'll continue to walk your path stronger, wiser, and more capable of living your life on your own terms. 9. Let her feel the void. You must understand one critical truth. A relationship ends. It's not about what you did wrong or what you filetto. It's about the man you were. Too often men obsess over their effort. Late night calls, the gifts. The time spent. They believe that if they simply show all they've given, she'll come back, but effort doesn't bind anyone. What matters is presence, and the presence. She misses the Mosties, the one she no longer has access to. Let that sink in. She's not grieving your efforts, grieving the version of you that was a foundation in her life, the man who was strong, decisive, and stable. She misses the man who was confident, who had direction, and who didn't second-guess himself. That man, the one who stood with masculine calm and emotional stability, is what she longs for. But here's the real power: when you go silent, when you pull back and disappear, you become scarce, and scarcity creates value. Must understand this to win her back. Don't chase her. Don't try to prove your worth through more effort. Let her feel the void, the absence of the grounded man she once knew. Epictetus said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." When you remove yourself, when you stop scrambling for her attention, you'd give her the space to realize what she truly lost. Let her wonder where the man who had it all together went. Let her sit with the absence of the man who brought certainty and strength into her life. This absence will force her to face a hard truth: she underestimated you, and now she feels it. It's at this moment that you regain control, but you must not rush it. Let her experience that void, that longing, and don't interrupt it and give in to the temptation to explain or overcompensate. Stoicism teaches us that we can control only our actions, not the reactions of others. You must accept that. Don't be the man who clings desperately to something less deep, the man who lets go with dignity, who trusts that absence creates value. When you do this, you reclaim your power. The key to winning back her respect, her admiration, and her heart isn't in what you do, but in what you stop doing. So take action now. Pull back and allow her to feel the absence of the man she is. Once relied on. Stoicism will show you how to master this. The void you create is the most powerful tool at your disposal. It worked for you. When she comes back, don't be the same man she left. Here's the moment where most men get it wrong. She returns, and you're still the same old guy, still emotionally available, still reactive, still holding on to the past. Let me tell you this straight. If you've done the work, if you've applied the principles of old Stoic wisdom and developed an iron mind, there's a strong chance she will come back. But the real question isn't whether she'll come back, it's whether the man she finds will make her regret walking away in the first place. Ao must be a different man when she returns. The goal isn't simply to win her back, it's to evolve so completely that when she walks into your life, again you might not even recognize each other. It's about becoming a version of yourself that she can't even imagine fitting into. Any more than just settle for reclaiming what was it's about, reinvention. Transformation hand she returns, she should feel like a stranger stepping into a world you've created without. Here a world where you no longer depend on her approval, her attention, or even her apology. You must be the kind of man who's no longer waiting around to be rescued, the kind of man who's solid, secure, and whole on his own. This is where Stoic principles come in: the power to endure, the ability to remain unmoved in the face of emotional chaos. This is the path you must walk. She sees the calm in your voice, the clarity in your decisions, the quiet strength in your present sight. Won't just spark curiosity. It will ignite something deeper. She'll be drawn back to you, not out of desperation or unfinished business. She'll be drawn to the man you've becometh, man who no longer needs her to be whole. You must understand this. The more you focus on your own growth in embodying the timeless wisdom of the Stoics, the more magnetic you become, the more you become the man who embodies power without effort, peace without need, and strength without arrogance. And when she sees the man you've become, if one who's elevated himself, the one who no longer craves her love or approvals, won't just come back. She'll come back knowing she doesn't deserve you anymore. She'll see a man who's outgrown Herond. The attraction will be undeniable. That is the true power of Stoic wisdom in action. So on. She will come back 100%. Just do this. Wisdom Muse. Hey there, thanks so much for watching. If this resonated with you, share it with someone who could really use this wisdom, and don't forget to like, comment your thoughts below, and hit that subscribe button for more amazing content on Brain of Fineware. Psychology meets power. Here's a little reminder. Silence isn't weakness, it's evolution. Keep growing, stay strong, and trust that the path you're on is leading you exactly where you need to go. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.